Good morning, class. It's your teacher, Mr. Halverson, here at the home of the Rouse School Mustangs, coming at you with Can't Stop the Music Challenge number 5. But first, before we get going, I need to thank the following people and their parents for helping them get their submissions in. Mr. Jack, Miss Rose, Mr. James, Mr. Gavin, Mr. Adrian, Mr. Cash, Miss Maddie, Miss Michaelin, Miss Abby, Miss Trinity, Mr. Hazen, Miss Layla, Mr. Ziggy, Mr. Kalis, Mr. Jaden, Mr. Caden, Miss Mackenzie, Mr. Bridger, Miss Cambry, Miss Abby, Mr. Owen, Miss Malia, and Mr. Landon. Moms and dads, thanks for taking the time of getting the images taken of those and posted, videos posted, things emailed to me, and things sent home in your child's packets. That helps out an awful lot. So let's get transitioned over to the wheel picker of names. Here we go. And congratulations, Miss Rose. You are the next winner for challenge number 4 of Can't Stop the Music Challenge. You are going to be the recipient of a small drink from Bittersweet Coffees. And her name, along with everybody else who has submitted, their names are all going in for the grand prize drawing at the tail end of all of this. And for the first time in all of this, I have not posted the name. You'll notice in the actual post on the Facebook message, you actually have to watch the video to find out that Miss Rose won. Something just a little bit different that we're doing. All right. Quick recap, because today is going to be the last issuance of this particular project that's part of the Can't Stop the Music Challenge. To this point, what you've done is you've picked a person, place, or thing, we call that a noun, that you were going to write about. You picked 4 main ideas. Those 4 main ideas, kind of big ideas, you used to write a chorus line, which is that part, that's that chunk of the music in a song that we sing in between all the verses. If we do this right, all of the verses funnel and point towards the context of that chorus line. So that was the next thing that you did, was take those 4 things and turn them into a chorus line. You also had to come up with 8 micro detail things that help flesh out this story, because we're writing a ballad, and a ballad is a piece of music that helps tell a story. In our case, about this person, place, or thing that you've picked. Last week, we had you pick 4 out of those 8 deals to put together your first verse that leads us into that chorus line. And this week, what we're going to do, you are going to take the last 4 things and plug that into a second verse. All right? So what I did for mine, just to walk us through this quickly here, the 5 that I had left out of my 8, and they'll be popping up over here, I have that Mrs. Salt wears glasses, drives a truck to school, is one of the first people at the school, and that everyone loves Mrs. Salt. Now, just like what we had to do with our chorus line and with our verses, we have to do a little bit of wordsmithing to make all those things fit together. And kudos to those of you that picked a different song that you knew a melody to and have gone back and tweaked them to make them fit to that melody line. That's an excellent way of beginning to write music and putting things together like that. So good job on you. Good job on everybody else, too, that's coming up with their own independent melody line. That's fantastic. I love all the stuff that I'm seeing. Guys, it's really cool to see these different submissions coming in. So those were the 4 things that I picked. And the way that I wordsmith them together, it ends up going like this, and it kind of follows the format of what I did in verse 1. And again, like we've talked about before, the way that you write it is going to be different than mine, and the way that I write it's going to be different than yours based upon those things in life that we've experienced. So I took those 4. The final 4 that I had was wears glasses, drives a truck to school, one of the first people at the school, and everyone loves Mrs. Salt. And this is what I wordsmith together into my verse 2. One of the first folks here each morning, smiling with her glasses on her face. Her truck's outside and it is blue. We all love her at Rouse School. You may be asking who this gal might be, which is going to lead us into the chorus line. So the way that ends up sounding for me is like this. one of the first folks here each morning, smiling with her glasses on her face. Her truck's outside and it is blue. We all love her at Rouse School. You may be asking who this gal might be. And then that leads into my chorus line. So here's the fantastic part about this. After you have verse 2 written, you have a completed piece of music if you wish. And that's all the farther that we're going to take that. You're going to, by the time this is done for Monday next week, it's due Monday next week. So we've got basically most of a week to get this project done, for this part anyway. You're going to end up having 2 verses and a chorus. Now, what I want you to do for next week is a little bit different than what I've asked you to this point. So you're going to write the second verse, and as much as is possible, okay, what I'd like to have happen, mom or dad, someone with a cell phone, record you doing your song. But you're going to do it as a completed song. So usually, as we piece these different chunks together, this is what we would do. Typically, we'll start with verse 1, and then we sing chorus. Then we go to verse 2, and then we sing the chorus again. If we don't have any other components, we'll oftentimes end singing the chorus one final time. So that order, and I'll have it pop up over here. Verse 1, then the chorus. Verse 2, the chorus, then the chorus a second time. And next week on Monday, what I'll do is I'm going to post my song on Mrs. Salt all together the way that I would perform it if I were performing for different people. So feel free to use emotion, action as you're singing, whatever you think does a good job that doesn't detract away from the song that you've written. So show me that completed thing next week for the Can't Stop the Music Challenge. I'll be issuing an additional informational video this week that will be explaining what we are going to be, the finalized-ish direction that we're going to be taking for the music program. I have to wait for Governor Bullock to say what he's got to say as far as school closures and things like that, and what the plans are with how we are proceeding forward as a state. And this week I will post a video that's explaining about the spring program, along with a letter that I'll be sending home that you guys will get in your packets on Monday next week. And we're going to be tackling that as a continuation through the Can't Stop the Music Challenge. So for next week, write your second verse, put it all together in song form. Verse 1, chorus. Verse 2, chorus. Chorus. As much as is possible, if you can, have mom or dad video you do that. Post it in the comment section down below, or send it to me in an email. If that's not an option for you, send me the completed thing. And what might end up happening is your song might end up being featured in the spring program this year, depending on how things turn out. So that's all I've got for you for today. I miss you guys. I look forward to seeing you again. I look forward to seeing what your music projects end up looking like completed for Can't Stop the Music Challenge number 5 next week. But before I go, don't forget, 1, be helpful around the house both today and every day. Number 2, be sure that you give your folks a hug. 3, tell someone you love them. And number 4, look forward to seeing you guys when we all get back from this education in exile. Miss you guys. Have a good Monday.